Hello, I'm here to explain to you what 10-Second Ninja X actually is in just 10 seconds. 10-Second Ninja X is a game about completing levels in less than 10 seconds. It also features swords, explosions, electrocutions, death, costumes, death, stars, death, minigames, death. Oh god, that's not death!
This week in game news, Oculus VR killed a hack, but the hacker hacked it back. Unravel 2 was announced, the price of Battleborn dropped to $40, Ori and the Blind Forest is getting a retail release in June, Kingdom Come Deliverance has been delayed to 2017, a Mirror's Edge television series is happening, SSX hit the Xbox One through backwards compatibility, cross-network play came to Rocket League, the PlayStation 4/Vita version of SteamWorld Heist has been delayed a week to June 7th, and ranked play is coming to Overwatch next month. This is the Blackman and Robin game news updates. First, to provide a quick update on a story from last week, Layla and the Shadows of War is now available to purchase on iOS. For a bit of perspective, Apple had blocked the game from its App Store, claiming that because it had political elements, it wasn't suitable for sale as a game. This week, Apple has pulled a reversal and you can now get Layla and the Shadows of War on your iPhone. In case you're wondering, Layla and the Shadows of War is set on the Gaza Strip. You play as a father trying to get your family out of a war zone. The game draws inspiration from real-life war crimes that took place, and it's a 10-minute experience well worth having on either Android or iOS. Regarding that Oculus Rift hack, it's a bit of a complex situation. A while back, we reported on a hack called Revive. It's a piece of software that allows you to run Oculus Rift games on other virtual reality headsets. Let's say that you own an HTC Vive. You could use Revive to access the store for Oculus Rift games, and purchase them and play them in your HTC Vive. When the software first came out, Oculus VR said that they couldn't condone or support it, and that the software might be broken in a future update. Last week, that update came. Oculus VR introduced DRM, or Digital Rights Management software, to the Rift. What this DRM does is that it requires Rift games to go through a sort of check. The games will refuse to run if they detect that they're being run in a non-Oculus headset, hence, the Revive hack wouldn't work. This move on the part of the Facebook-owned Oculus VR is disappointing, but not surprising. Oculus VR had never expressly threatened to break the Revive hack. They said that there was the chance that it might stop working and that they weren't liable to offer technical support. That's fair enough. That they'd go through the trouble to block non-Rift hardware, however, is pretty gross. Legal, yes, Oculus VR is well within their rights, but nonetheless disgusting. There are many reasons to be sickened by this, the first being that virtual reality is a nascent market. Games and hardware are still emerging. Oculus VR is trying so hard to mimic the success of Apple with their App Store, with its walled gardens and shut hardware, that it's alienating its fans and pushing away potential buyers. Think of it this way. Steam, owned by the Valve Corporation, is the biggest PC games distribution platform on the planet. If Valve decided that people couldn't access Steam without using Valve-approved hardware, guess what? People would stop trusting in Steam. Oculus is doing the same thing to its brand. By saying, you can't play these games without buying our hardware, they're not guaranteeing customers the best possible experience. That's what they'll claim every time, that these draconian methods are to guarantee what's best for the customer, but know that every time, that's never the case. It's to guarantee profits, first and foremost. It's ironic and myopic. In the quest to lock in profits and users, they're locking out developers and potential customers. How would you feel as an HTC Vive owner if you tried playing a game in VR only to be locked out by a hardware manufacturer? It wouldn't make me want to buy a Rift. It would make me wonder how long it would be before they stopped serving their customers altogether. It's fragmenting an already divided market, one that had seemingly, gloriously re-emerged from the pit of abandoned futuristic ideas from the 90s. Awful as it is that Oculus VR is employing DRM to push away customers, the developers of Revive came out with a version 0.5.2 of their software shortly after Oculus pushed the DRM update. This build of Revive provides a quick workaround for Unreal Engine games that run on the Oculus Rift. This new version of the hack works by circumventing DRM completely. It's likely that Oculus will push out another update to break Revive again, and on the cycle shall continue. What's funny is that the previous version of this hack required you to have purchased any Oculus games that you wanted to play in your Vive. Because of this edition of the hack completely bypasses Rift hardware verification, it's opened the door to game piracy. That was not the intention of the developers, but it's an unfortunate side effect. To put this in perspective, by pushing away the people who are willing to pay money to them, not only has Oculus shot itself in the foot, they've hurt the livelihoods of the developers who put their faith in them. If Oculus VR wants to gain new customers, they should do it by offering features that the competition does not by locking out potential customers. Some of the folks who've pre-ordered the Rift headsets still haven't received theirs. Why can't Oculus VR focus its resources on serving its customers first? Instead, they're focusing on profits and DRM. Stick with us as we'll be covering this matter in the future. This week, we got a new trailer for Mirror's Edge Catalyst, which is cool in itself, but that's not all the Mirror's Edge news we got. If you're a fan of Mirror's Edge, you might be pleased to hear that Endemol Shine Studios has gotten their hands on the rights to adapt Mirror's Edge into a television series. Endemol Shine Studios is responsible for The Biggest Loser, MasterChef, Big Brother, and Hell on Wheels. That they're adapting Mirror's Edge for television could go very well or very badly. From what we've been hearing, however, it's not going to be a reality show, thank goodness. Rather, it's going to be a sort of action-oriented show starring Faith. Sharon Hall, president of Endemol Shine, says that she can see Mirror's Edge, quote, as a franchise for a global TV audience on account of its strong female protagonist, a wildly rabid fanbase, and a worldwide brand that Electronic Arts and EA DICE have done an amazing blah blah blah. That's all corporate talk for we think this could make us money. Frankly, I'm excited at the prospect of a Mirror's Edge television show, but I'm going to curb my enthusiasm until I know for certain who's going to be writing and producing it. A TV show based on Mirror's Edge has a lot of potential for greatness. Aesthetically, the game series is stunning, and I could easily see its look transferred over to television. Additionally, its story about parkour practitioners delivering politically subversive messages in a dystopian city to fight the power, that's exciting. It's worth keeping in mind, however, that what makes Mirror's Edge work as a game is not necessarily what's going to make it work as a TV show. Whoever's adapting it will need to keep that in mind. It would be nice if Rihanna Pratchett, who wrote the story for the original Mirror's Edge, came back to write the TV show, but there's no guarantee of that as she's busy with her own projects these days. Additionally, it will be absolutely necessary to find an actress who knows parkour. What do you think? Could a Mirror's Edge television series turn out well? Let us know what you think on Twitter at Blackman and Robin.
It's good to have you back, girl.
How did we get here?
Technology is advancing at a phenomenal rate. Artificial eyes to cybernetic limbs.
While we're talking about dystopia, a live-action trailer was released for Deus Ex Mankind Divided this week. You may remember that a while back, Mankind Divided revealed that the story for the next Deus Ex game would be one of a mechanical apartheid. The premise being that people with cybernetic augmentations, that is, people with robot limbs, would be discriminated against. It's an interesting concept. If you've ever seen Gattaca, you know that a story about people divided over human augmentation makes for fascinating transhuman science fiction with the potential to explore the human condition as it is right now, and as it may be in the future. The story in Mankind Divided is that these fancy, strong robot limbs have gone berserk, leading to death and destruction, and ultimately a mechanical apartheid, with augmented people being dragged away to camps. I have mixed feelings on this. On the one hand, it's a high concept and a great idea, and this latest trailer has done a good job of actually making it believable. On the other hand, it seems a little unlikely that people would be so sharply divided over such a matter. Surely augmented people could be peaceably invited into a quarantine and have their robot limbs temporarily removed until the whole hack could be sorted? Whatever the case, Deus Ex Mankind Divided is set to be released on August 23, 2016 for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Windows.
That meddling rat and his turtles are more trouble than we had anticipated.
In game releases this week, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutants in Manhattan was released on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and Windows this week, and it's gotten less than stellar reception. This Platinum-published platformer seems to suffer from weak level design, repetitive gameplay that's either too easy or too hard, and a disappointingly short campaign, though the art style is really cool. Essentially, it's a mediocre game, which is a disappointment considering it's coming from Platinum, though it's not surprising. One of Platinum's more recent licensed games, The Legend of Korra, suffered from similar issues to Mutants in Manhattan. If you're okay with playing a mediocre Ninja Turtles game and just wanted to pick this one up for your collection, you might want to think about it. Otherwise, it's probably worth giving this one a pass.
Sorry, Earthlings, but all your base belong to us.
Knock it off, Mike.
Sheesh. One little interdimensional invasion and everyone loses their sense of humor.
Skateboarding more your thing? Not to worry, we have you covered with Ollie Ollie 2. Ollie Ollie 2 was released on the Xbox One this week, and this is Ollie Ollie 2 XL Edition, which adds 50 levels, a free skate mode, and a bunch of challenges to Roll7's critically acclaimed pixel art skateboarding platformer. In case you've never played Ollie Ollie, what you should know is that it's a platformer in which you traverse an obstacle course on a skateboard. Along the way, you have to perform sweet tricks and land them properly in order to score points. Personally, I'm not that into sports games, but I have had quite a bit of fun with the original Ollie Ollie. Ollie Ollie 2 is also available on PlayStation 4, PlayStation Vita, Mac, Windows, and Linux. To address the elephant in the room, Overwatch was released on Windows, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4 this week. It's a smash hit. Published by Blizzard, this FPS features 21 different characters, each with their own unique abilities. Personally, I'm partial to D.Va. It's a lot like Team Fortress 2, but with a much larger cast of characters. I had the opportunity to play the game during its open beta and must say I was really impressed. The game is very easy to pick up, it's not complicated for all its different elements, but it still has a nice amount of depth. It's a very fast-paced game, but you don't just run in and shoot things, unless you're playing as Bastion, in which case you sit down and shoot things. Teamwork plays a pivotal role in winning a match of Overwatch. You need to consider how your hero is going to interact with the others on the team, and you need to come up with good strategies very quickly, and you really just have to be dynamic, being willing to make changes to your strategy in order to win the match. MOBAs do seem to play a part in the game's inspiration. Unlike in a MOBA, however, changing heroes partway through the game is actually a key part of the meta. Something in particular that I really appreciate about Overwatch is that every role in the game feels good to play as, if that makes sense. You always feel like you're playing an active part in the game. Even if you lose, you felt like you did well. Something that really just makes Overwatch interesting is that even though it's very well balanced, in a lot of ways it feels kind of asymmetric. Playing as a support character feels totally different from playing as a defense character, feels totally different from playing as, Mei. Overwatch is well worth checking out if you're looking for a truly fresh take on an FPS. If you'd rather just watch short animated films, rest assured Overwatch has you covered as a nice assortment of cinematics introducing characters and lore are being produced. This week, alongside the launch of the game, we got the Hero trailer, starring Soldier 76.
Not anymore.
For strategy game fans, Total War Warhammer was released on Windows this week. It's gotten great critical reception thus far, and the players really seem to love it as well. Sega's Total War series has for the most part been about historical battles. The Total War Warhammer release, however, is a bit of a break from tradition as it's set in the fantasy universe of the Warhammer franchise. Fans of both Total War and Warhammer have had a lot of good things to say about the game. It's apparently a well-crafted grand strategy title, with a lot of complexity, depth, well-designed campaigns for each faction, and strong multiplayer. Apparently, it's significantly better than the mess that was Total War Rome 2. If you're into Warhammer, you may want to consider this one. I must express my disappointment, however, that the game wasn't titled Total Warhammer. Talk about a missed opportunity.
Choose your side and conquer this world.
If you're more fond of older adventure games, such as Heart of Darkness, Flashback, Another World, that sort of thing, super challenging adventure puzzle platformers, you might be interested in a game called The Way. Released on Steam this week for Mac, Windows, and Linux, this game is largely inspired by those adventures of old, It's a piece of science fiction in which you travel to another planet to find technology to resurrect your beloved wife. I have to say that the art looks incredible, and thus far the game's gotten overwhelmingly good reception from most players on Steam, though a few players seem to dislike the game's difficulty, saying that it's significantly harder than the games that inspired it. If you loved Out of This World and would like to play something even harder, check out The Way. It's also available on GOG.com and Humble. And now for a brief word from our sponsor.
Here's a dirty little secret. When you wash your face at the end of the day, you might only be cleaning the surface of your skin. To clear those congested pores, you need a deep clean. And today, you can get it with Proactive's incredible deep cleansing brush. And here's something even more incredible. You get the brush free when you order a Proactive system today.
I love the deep cleansing brush because it really gets in those pores.
I was using a brush that was over $200, and I like this so much better.
This isn't just any brush. This is the only one from the doctors at Proactive, so it's specially designed for acne-prone skin. Call the number on your screen now to get America's #1 acne brand for just $19.95. Be among the first 500 callers, and you'll also get the deep cleansing brush free, plus more secrets for flawless skin. That's a $93 value for just $19.95.
You only have 2 hands, but you have a whole lot of bristles.
This is such an incredible offer that supplies are limited. Call the number on your screen now.
In crowdfunding news this week, a Kickstarter project that caught our attention is a co-op puzzle game called Finding Gravity. In development for Mac, Windows, and Oculus Rift, it's a game that looks a little like a first-person version of Monument Valley. The game's premise? Reverse gravity in order to solve puzzles. With a friend. The game is co-op only. If you loved the co-op levels in Portal 2 and desired a game inspired by the works of M.C. Escher, Finding Gravity sounds like your jam. The game is set to be released September of 2016. If you're looking for a little more action, might I suggest taking a look at Biosupremacy? In this action platformer, you fight your way through alien worlds, collecting the DNA of an assortment of creatures in order to integrate their skills into your arsenal. Your ultimate goal? Become the universe's dominant species. Aesthetically speaking, I really like the game's look and the backstory. You play as the last remnant of an ancient alien civilization fighting back against a multidimensional being that's creating powerful creatures that threaten the fate of the universe. It sounds crazy, but it also sounds like it has potential to be a really good science fiction story. Biosupremacy is currently in development for Mac and Windows. Right now, it's up on Kickstarter. Winter sports game Snow received an update this week. Snowmobiles and snowboards have been added to Snow, naturally. The game has been in beta for the last couple of years and is currently available for free on Steam for Windows. It's set to be released on the PlayStation 4 sometime later, and it's also due to support the PlayStation VR and the Oculus Rift. I've mostly heard good things about Snow, and while it does have some glitches, keep in mind it's still in early access. If Snow sounds like your sort of game, now's a pretty good time to check it out. Winter sports games aren't all that common. Between Snow and SSX, which was recently made backwards compatible with the Xbox One, there aren't a whole lot of winter sports offerings on the table right now. Perhaps virtual reality will help change that? After all, if you can afford a ski vacation, you can probably afford a VR headset. This week, we got a gameplay trailer for the upcoming I Am Setsuna. Being published by Square Enix, this JRPG is a throwback to the classics. From what I've heard, it plays a lot like Chrono Trigger and has a gorgeous soundtrack with a pretty good story to boot. I'll be honest, I'm not quite digging the 3D character models, but I do like the idea of JRPGs going back to their roots. I Am Setsuna is coming to the PlayStation 4 and Windows on July 19, 2016. A first trailer was unveiled for a game called Absolver this week, and it looks absolutely stunning. Set to be published by Devolver Digital, Absolver is a game in which you wander the lands of the fallen Adal Empire alongside your fellow masked warriors. From the looks of things, this game could be called Journey with Swordplay. There will be dungeons to explore and fight through as well as PvP. I like the game's concept, and the art style is absolutely stunning. The developers working on the game at Slowclap formerly worked together at Ubisoft on Watch Dogs and the Ghost Recon series. Absolver is set to be released in 2017 for Mac, Windows, and Linux, as well as for unspecified consoles. Finally, this week a trailer was released for House of the Dying Sun, a space shooter currently in development for the Oculus Rift and HTC Vive. Well, that's it for this week's game news. For all the latest game news, reviews, previews, and interviews, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Blackman and Robin. Follow me at Jordan_Cameron for my own views.
All our songs were about it. A magical place of life without end. A palace of untold wonders. But only for the worthy. So our lives were desperately dedicated to qualify. Pinpoint perspective on the great reward. Only I never wanted to go. Those words alone could mean death. So when I ran, I knew it meant never stopping to catch my breath. If I wanted to live. And so it was. Yet here I am. The place I spent my